Blast me to Magaria! It's time for episode 15 of the Mad Merlin's Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Journey, Part 2, Painting and Playing. Hello and welcome back to the Mad Merlin's Imperium Journey. We're continuing with issue 15 and our flayed ones. So, there's not much in the way of new rules today to look at, but we do get a full data sheet for our flayed ones and for our plasma site, who are needed in the playthrough. The only new rules we're learning are reserves, which we'll be getting coverage of in the playthrough. So, today's painting is going to be a handy little method for decayed and flayed flesh. So, to start, we'll need Rackar flesh. If you don't have this in your collection already, I do believe we are going to be getting it at some point in the collection. So what we'll do is get a small puddle ready on a palette, add a touch of water just to help thin it down so it goes on nice and smooth. And onto our model. So the areas we're going to look at covering is anywhere that is flesh. So we've got the severed arm here. Just going to give that a coat of the Rackar flesh. He's also wearing a mask of skin, so paint that in over his face. There's some up here on his claws, and he's wrapped skin around his own arm. So I'll just do that until we got a good solid coat of Rackar flesh on our model. Once we've got a good solid coat of Rackar flesh down on our flayed skin, we're ready for the next step. The next step is to make up a slightly thinned down shade using Druchii Violet. So we want 1 part violet, and then we'll want to use some Lamy Medium to help thin it down. As we use medium instead of water, we get a much more smoother finish. So I'll use 2 drops of Lamy Medium to 1 drop of Druchii Violet, and then mix it into our palette. And that will give us a nice thin down, so it just pinks the skin. So onto our model, we're going to coat this lightly over all the skin we've just done, letting it fall into the recesses. If you see it gathering too much in one place, just use your brush to soak it up and shift it along to a new location. And once we do that, we'll leave it to dry and we're ready for the next stage. So the wash dry, our flayed one's skin is looking nice and pinky, but now we're going to knock it back to a more skin tone. And for that we'll use flayed one flesh. This paint, we're only going to be applying it on the upper areas of the flayed skin as a highlight. So any areas that would not be facing the light will stay the nice dark, nice light pink colour. Wash the brush off. And so, good place to show you the example is up here on his arm. So we're looking to coat this over these upper areas of flayed skin. Just giving a nice highlight. And then we can leave the underside there, the pink. Also, anywhere there's a recess, such as on the elbow joint there, just paint around that. With this paint being a fairly clear paint, you'll need to do a good 2 or 3 layers. But when you're done, your flayed ones should be finished. And they'll be ready to take on the Ultramarines in our next playthrough. There we have our Necron flayed ones all finished and ready for the battlefield. So if you follow that handy little guide for flayed flesh, you'll have some nice looking happy little murder bots. I finished these guys off with my standard basing scheme, as well as a coat of Storm Shield varnish on the models and bases, and a coat of Ard coat along the rim of the base to help against wear and tear during play. So all we got left to do now is head into the battlefield with today's mission: destroy the plasma site. I'll be back shortly. Destroy the plasma site. The Canoptic plasma site is hard at work activating and repairing dormant and damaged Necrons, siphoning off corrupted mental engrams. The Space Marines must prevent the Canoptic plasma site from completing its duties. Mission briefings. The plasma site is engaged in its repair routines. The Space Marines must destroy it before it can complete its task. Something else lurks nearby, however. Ravenous Necron flayed ones have been drawn from their extra-dimensional realm by the prospect of flesh. Necrons devour the enemy. The Necron flayed ones seek to devour Space Marines. The Canoptic plasma site must make use of this distraction to complete its programmed task. Eliminate the target. Despite the arrival of the flesh-hungry flayed ones, the Space Marines must complete their objective and eliminate the plasma site before more enemies arrive. So it's a simple seek and destroy mission, where our Space Marines must eliminate the plasma site. And here's the target set up on objective E. We've got one squad of 3 assault intercessors on A and another 3 on B. I've rolled off for my terrain location and I got a 1, so he lands there. And the crates and ammo Promethean drums are pre-planned for there. So Necrons get turn 1. So we start off with movement. So for the plasma site, that is a mighty 8 inches. And we need to keep him as far away as possible from the enemies. So we're going to go 8 inches towards the back corner there. He's not allowed to leave the battlefield, so he must stay on the mat. Now, the flayed ones have a rule called dimensional translocation. What it means is, at the end of the movement phase, they can be set up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from the enemies, including outside of your deployment zone. So, if we measure 9 inches away from each Space Marine, so we can easily set up the flayed ones on that rock there. So I'll put the first one like that, and the remainder deploy like so. As this is the end of the movement phase, the flayed ones can't make a normal move, but they are allowed to make a charge. Because they are within 12 inches of a target, they have the ability to make a charge. So we know we need 9 inches. So let's see if we can get 9 or more. Oh dear. A 4 doesn't help. So, as this is just the initial playthrough, we will count that as if they had made a charge. Because otherwise we'll be here all day. So, the flayed ones make their charge of 10 inches. And now they get to attack. So each flayed one has 3 attacks each. So we've got 5, so that's 15 dice. Huh, look at that, I got out just exactly enough. So, flayed ones need a 3+ to hit. And any 6s trigger their flesh hunger rule, which means it counts as 2 hits instead of 1. So although we've lost 2 dice, we regain those 2 dice for the 2 6s. So luckily we scored 15 hits. Now with strength 4, tough 4, 4's to wound those space marines. Didn't do as good on the wounding. 5 wounds. So we'll take the first wound on this guy here. He's wounded, so 1 wound. So that's 2 gone. 1 save on him, saved. Still 1 save on him, failed. So the last save can go on somebody else, which is also a fail. So the flayed ones managed to eliminate 1 space marine, but the space marines get to strike back. So they have 2 attacks each and +1 for chainswords. They need 3s to hit. 4 hits and 4s to wound. Look at that, 4 wounds. So the flayed ones have a 4+ save. The chainswords have a rend of 1. So these 4s are now 5s. So 1 makes it, but 3 unfortunately perish. These guys are a hard-hitting unit, but they are fragile. So, as no unit has been eliminated, there's no consolidation move required, they're going to stay locked in combat there. On to the Space Marines' turn. So, this squad is going to move up, and we'll make an advance roll. So, 2 on top of 6 is 8. And now it's the fight phase. As it's the Space Marines' turn, there's no charges. That means the Necrons make 8 attacks first. So we got 2 flayed ones left with 3 attacks each. So we lose 1, but we regain 3. Fours to wound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 even, I can't count. I didn't realise that. The flayed one claws have a -1 to AP. So the wounded Space Marine fails. So he's dead. Takes the flayed one with him. So that means our last 4 dice go on the other Space Marine, needing 4s. Nope, that was too much for even this noble Ultramarine. So now it's the flayed one's turn. We'll keep our plasma sight over there. So let's see, if we move 5, No, we're going to be a bit out of range for charging, so we'll make an advance roll instead. So 9 inches. Gets them back to where they started. No charges, so it's the Space Marine's turn. So, hoping to take control of the mission and seize the objective, they're going to go advancing. So a 10-inch advance for them. Oops. And just out of range for pistols. So no charges either. Back to the Necrons. So the plasma sight has now seen that he's got enemies incoming. So he's going to make a move of 8 plus 3 is 11, down that way. And the flayed ones are going to move 5, and then charge. 7 inches. Perfect. So let's hope we do as good as last time. 3 attacks each. Needing freeze. Oh dear. Not as good this time. We've lost 3, but we regain 1 for a total of 4 hits. Strength 4, tough 4 to wound. 3 wounds. So we got a -1. So our first Space Marine saves. He makes 1, but he's wounded. And the last save is a fail. So next, the Space Marines will get to strike back. 2 attacks each, plus 1 for chainswords. Pile in. 3 to hit the flayed ones. Everything has hit. And 4 to wound them. 3 wounds with a -1. So 5s. Oh, 2 made, but sadly 1 will be eliminated. They'll stay locked in combat. It's now the Space Marine's turn. They're going to pistol the flayed one, freeze the hit, 1 hit. And strength 4 tough, 4 4s. Wounded. -1 for the heavy bolt pistol. 5 up save. Made. There's no charges, so it's the flayed one to attack first. 2 regular hits. No exploding 6s. And 2 wounds. 1 Space Marine with a -1. Makes 1 and takes a wound. The Space Marines strike back. Oop. Can't pick up my dice. 6 dice. Needing freeze. And needing 4s. Poor little flayed one needs to make 4 wounds. Oh, so close. He made half of them, but he loses his one and only wound. It's now on to Necron's turn, and I think our little plasma sight is going to... not terribly too far. He's only got 10 inches away. The Space Marines will turn and move 6. They'll need a 9-inch charge. They fail. Plasma Sight is caught between a rock and a hard place. He's going to make use of the terrain and he's going to head towards A. Whoop. So roll a dice. Oh, only 9 inches. Well, he's still got a fair way away. Nothing else to do. The Space Marines will move 6. And charge. 4 inches. Yeah, I think they're in. Just. 3 attacks each. And we only need a single wound. Oof. Total of 1 guy makes a full hit. Strength 4, toughness 5 for the plasma sight, so 5s. Nothing. Plasma sight got lucky. Plasma sight strikes back with its single attack. Falls to hit. Hits. Strength 4, tough 4, falls to wound. And a -1 on that. So 3 up save. Nope, 4 up save for our Space Marine. Oh, he doesn't make it. He bites the dust. Just got enough time for our last turn. Plasma sight will fall back away from our Space Marine. Falls back 8. That's all he can do. Our Space Marine will close the distance and charge. Will he bring home the victory? Yes, 2 6s are enough to wound. -1 on the 4+ save. 5s, no. Plasma sight has been eliminated. So, there we have it. We've learnt all about arriving from reserves, and we've learnt how deadly the flayed ones can be in close combat with those exploding 6s. But no matter how fast that plasma sight ran, those Space Marines eventually caught up to him and stopped his repair protocols. Alright, we'll have a look at what's in our next Imperium, and then I'll be able to see you in the next one. So there we have it. Reserves rules learnt, and a brand new unit for our Necrons fully painted. So, what is in our next Imperium? Well, issue 16 nets us 5 more Assault Intercessors. We get a complete updated rules reference, and we also learn the rules for large units. In issue 17 we get our second Munitorum armoured container. We get a fold out all about the different Necron dynasties and what they look like, and we get a new Psychic Phase battle report to go through with our Librarian versus some Necrons. So, all what's left for me to do is to thank you for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. If you'd like to help the channel out, there is my affiliate link and a buy me a coffee link in the description down below. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time for more mad content. Goodbye.